All right, we're back. We're back. We got a bye week this week in Mizzou, fellas, but we're gonna still talk about our preview of Mizzou versus Oklahoma. But before we even get into that game, which is at Faurot Field, we got to talk about the college football rankings, man, that just came out. I'm looking at us at number 24, uh, with a. I- I'm gonna get right into it, man. There are some teams on this list that I do not like that are ahead of us. So
Mm.
we can address those teams, or we can address the top 10, top 12 teams first. Which one you, Spoon, take it off. Which one you want to address first?
Well, man, it's crazy because I didn't know that today or whenever this ranking came out. And
Hmm.
when I Googled it, it said, it pulled up AP. I typed in college football playoff, it pulled up AP. And I'm like, dang, we ain't even in there. You
Yeah, we're
know,
not.
on the AP list, we're not there. But here we are at 24. I will say one thing about it. The teams at the top is pretty much kind of what I expected. You got a few um, anomalies there. You got a
Mhm.
two-loss team at 11. That's Bama, but they beat some darn good teams, including us.
Yeah, in
You
Georgia.
did see 1-3. You saw Louisville creep in at what is that? 22. They
Yes.
they kind of hot right now. Just had a big win against a team. But I don't know. Shout out to Coach Ivy. PI's over there. So
That's about all they got going on right there. Yeah.
much love to them. But I don't know, man. I'm learning more and more about this college football playoff thing, and when we're not at the top, I'm not too
Yeah.
concerned anyway. I wouldn't even show my kids this. If I'm drinking, who cares? AP don't
Yeah.
respect us. Nobody respects us. Just go win all our games and see what happens, man. But it's something to talk about. It's exciting. I think they pretty much got it right at the top. Just still gonna be funny to see how the top four teams that win their league are
Hmm.
the top, the power four. They're good to go, and then other teams kind of got to fit in how they fit in. So it's kind of iffy for me, but cool to talk about. But it's still early.
Yeah. J Mac, how you feel about it, man? Initial thoughts, initial reaction.
I'm gonna ask you a question first. What you got a problem with on this list?
I got numerous
What you
problems.
what you
Spoon
got a
hit on
problem with? Talk to
Spoon
me.
hit on it already. He talked about Louisville.
Hmm.
In my opinion, Clemson sucks. If you beat Clemson, that doesn't make you a good team.
Yeah.
Like Clemson's only had one test, well, I guess two tests. Now that they lost to Louisville, that was to Georgia. They got exposed
Hmm.
horribly. So I guess that shows the disparity between those two conferences. So how is Clemson sitting at what was it, 23 ahead of us? I don't know. With two lost teams to teams, in my opinion, well, Georgia's good, but Louisville's not a good team. They're decent, 6-3. I don't understand putting them above a 6-2 SEC team. I'm not a big fan of Colorado right now because of who they lost to. You lost to Kansas State. You also lost to Nebraska, who is nowhere near this list. Nebraska's horrible
Kan-
this year.
Kansas State's in front of Missouri too.
I can actually deal with Kansas State being in front of us. Um, Now, I've always had a beef with the Boise States, the SMUs, the BYUs. Like, come on, man.
Well, BYU's
Well,
Big 12 now, so
I'm sorry,
like,
they both are, but the
but
Big
and
12 is
The Big 12, in my personal opinion, right now is the weaker of the P4s right now.
I would
without
say.
a
I
doubt.
would say.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know. Are they better than the ACC?
I think yeah,
No,
ACC, Miami.
ACC
No,
is
they're
better.
not better. They're not better.
Yeah, ACC is better, hands down.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna cut you off real quick.
Go
Here's
ahead.
why Louisville's ranked ahead of us. So they lost to a ranked Notre Dame team by 7. They
Yes.
lost to a ranked SMU team by 7. They lost to a
You.
ranked Miami team by 7. So that's why they're ranked ahead of us. We
Three
got
losses.
Yeah, but we got blown out, and I think it's one of those things. And we don't have a quality win like over a top 12 team at the time, right? So I think that's where you're coming from. Here's the deal.
Well,
I don't really care about that stuff down at the bottom though. I don't really care about that because
You.
it is what it is.
Well, then take it
Yeah,
back to the top 12. I
yeah.
mean,
So I, for
I don't
me, right?
understand. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying no. Go, make your
So
comment.
my
Go ahead.
my issue.
I'll go. The
Go ahead,
top
Spoon.
12. I'll say
Yeah.
something. I mean, Bama's in there.
Hmm.
Manny, Manny put that ooh up on them.
Yeah, that's not a good
Tennessee,
loss. That's not a good loss.
Tennessee. That's a good loss for them. But I mean, it's kind of like if you got that clout, you'll be good, right? SMU kind of ain't been around in a long time, but we know that's the richest
Yeah.
part of the country. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna be. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
money. It's money and it's money, bro. That's it, bro.
Yeah, but
It's a
So
other than Oregon, Georgia, I mean Alabama has the best win in college football. So like that's why they're still up there. Other than Oregon, who beat Ohio State,
mhm.
Alabama has the best win in my personal opinion by beating Georgia. Right?
mm,
I don't think Georgia's win against Texas is as what's the word I'm looking for, as good as Bama's win against Georgia. Right? I just don't. Like,
So this is my
and
thing. This is my thing. Like
that's why they still up there.
you know
if
who beat
we
Boise State?
who,
Oregon. You know how many points?
what was it? Please tell me.
3.
Yeah.
Or is it stay
Should,
real?
should Boise? Should Boise? It was opening week. I think it was opening week or the second week, but still,
It was early.
man, it was early.
Boise right where they need to be though. They're leading
But they're
they're
three
leading
points.
the
But they're the way they lost to Oregon. The way they lost is says that they should be higher than a 2-loss Bama team to me.
I agree. I
no
agree.
no
I
you don't.
And
agree.
they got star power too. I
And you
like the
got the
back.
Heisman Trophy winner basically on your in
Yeah,
your
the boy
backpack.
is.
So hold on. So question:
Strength of schedule,
if the
guys.
strength of schedule is, in my opinion, it's going to be incredibly difficult to rank these teams, and you're going to always have somebody upset. Like it's going to always happen.
Yeah.
And then let's take it a step further. We talk about what happened last year to Florida
Mhm.
State. So now you're talking about strength of schedule and who's
Yeah,
still who's
this
injured,
is
who's not
this is
injured.
going this is a little different because you got 12 teams now. Like at the end of the day, bro, like I thought last year would have been the perfect time to implement the new 12 team system.
Uh-huh.
I think this year, I think like we got 4 more weeks. I think you'll start to see people like separate themselves. But I think when all the smoke settles, I think you'll get the 12 teams deserving to be in there, right? I think right now, and I think right now, hold on, let me see something. I think right now, I think it's gonna come down to, and SMU still got Boston College, Virginia, and California, but like I think one of those two teams might be upset with Boise State and SMU. But I think like everything else, as far as like the P4 stuff goes, I think that's gonna make a case for itself. Now, what could happen is both of those, both Boise State and SMU get in if everybody starts knocking each other off. Right? That could
So
happen if they both finish 11 and
so
1 and both win their conference titles.
okay, so I have a question. Is Boise State, is
What?
SMU better than LSU or Ole Miss?
What? But so I don't think so. But based off what Spoon just said, right?
The way Oregon and Boise State went down fighting,
Hmm.
I will say they have been tested to see the best
Yeah.
team, you know.
Okay,
So I
okay.
will say that they can hold their own in the SEC. You know, I saw a Kentucky team put Georgia on the brinks. You know, I
Yeah.
saw a Vandy team
Bro,
beat Bama. I mean,
So let me say this.
but
Let
listen
this.
though, you got to be equipped to do that throughout the course of the season.
Yes,
Anybody can do it for one game. That's a good
yes.
team.
That's what I'm
But
saying. Like,
they
so look,
can't do that over the course of the season, and that's what's gonna make the playoffs so great. Is because can they nip somebody? Absolutely, because they're
yeah.
a good team. But like, do I think they can rally off 3 or 4 and win a nat and tip? No, I
No,
don't. It's not
that's my
happening.
thing. So that was my same knock against who we're about to play in Oklahoma, and even a Texas team or a Texas A&M team, teams who came from the Big 12. You can't go week in and week out and be dominant in the SEC. It's very hard. In fact, nobody's done it. Not one team, even Georgia, who is looking like they're probably the best team in the SEC right now, went to the wire with Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like, and Kentucky is
Yeah,
nowhere near this list. So I have a hard time seeing any teams outside of this, not any teams, these teams with the SMUs, the Boise States, the Iowa States. That's
I
ridiculous.
will.
Iowa
I
State.
was. I will say this though. I will say this though. If SMU and Boise State run the table, they both are going to get in. Boise State's only loss is to Oregon, number one team in the country.
Mhm.
SMU's only loss is to BYU by 3 points, a top 8 team in the country right now. So if they run the table, I think they both get in. I
Let me
think they
tell you
both
my
get in.
fear. Let me tell you my fear. My fear is what was that? Last year, maybe year before last? Year before last. We're going to see a repeat of Georgia and TCU somewhere in this top 12.
that
Maybe.
And that's
I think,
hideous for the sport.
but Kevin, it is. But at the same time, like if you don't bring your stuff, you get whooped. it could be your players don't match up. It could be, hey, you didn't come to play today, right? But in
Yeah.
the NFL, they got Super Wild Card Weekend. Go watch Super Wild Card Weekend. You're gonna
Hmm.
see somebody getting drawn by 25 to 30 points in one of those games, and that's equivalent to like getting beat by 50 in the college
You're
scheme of
right.
things to
You're
me.
right. But in the NFL, it's a little bit different because theoretically, the playing field should be equal. In college
Hmm.
football, even though we have the transfer portal, in my
Yo,
opinion, SMU should not be anywhere near the field with the Georgia. Like they shouldn't
but
be in the same
listen
playoffs
though.
as a
Oh,
Georgia team.
wait, Kev, wait.
That's tough. That's tough.
SMU has beat Louisville. SMU beat Pitt. Pitt's only
Louisville
losses to
sucks.
SMU. They don't though, man.
You got
Listen,
three
I
losses,
don't
dog,
agree. I don't
and you're
agree.
not.
Kevin don't
You
like
got
that
three. You
I
ACC.
got
don't.
three losses in your ACC. Like that's crazy. That's like that.
Three loss. He done hit the button on us.
Yo, I hate him, dog. What? Did he pull out on me just now?
He hit you. He hit
Hey,
you,
Bro, that was
Clay.
for
listen.
your kids,
Hey,
dog.
listen. Hey,
What you
listen.
got, Mac?
All I'm saying is like I think SMU is a good team. I think Boise State's a good team. I think their schedule has proven it. I think that they could like they beat Stanford, they beat Duke, they beaten TCU, they beat. Do I think that they could go in and play Texas, then
No,
play Vanderbilt, then go play Auburn, then go play? I'm giving you some of Mississippi State, then turn back around and play us. Like
that's
no,
what I'm
I
saying.
don't. So, but at the end of the day, you still have to like they're not like they both lost one game and they both took two top 10 teams in the country right now. So you have to respect that, and that's why they're. I think when all the dust settles, if they both run the table, they're both going to get in. Right? We all want to see them lose one more game because we want those other guys to get in. But
Yes,
if they
dog.
both run the table, they both gonna get in. And
I
it's
really,
impossible for everybody else in front of them to run the table. It's not happening.
I really what it seems like, Jeremy, is it seems to be a lot more parity in these conferences than we're giving credit for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we look at the SEC, and I mean, yeah, it's a grinder, but you still kind of know who's running that. Like
Yes,
they better bring their best up, but in the other leagues, I mean, these other teams been running their show too, man. They don't have to play the same schedule as us, but hey, they've been coming with it. So they
Oh,
had like three
also,
or four teams. They were
I'm crazy.
undefeated going into the
I'm
tournament.
crazy. Well, let me backtrack.
yeah,
SMU's in the ACC. That's how crazy. I didn't even know. So
Yep,
they're P4.
they
So
suck.
yeah, I'm just saying that they'll have to see Miami if they get there, right?
they're second. Yep, they're second in their league.
So my bad. I didn't even know like all this changing. You got a
I
team from
might.
Dallas going to, or goddamn going New York to go play a game and stuff, man. What we
Hey,
doing, man?
they got they
Look.
went to go get their money.
I just like the ACC, in my opinion, is the weakest Power Four.
No,
So
Big
when I
12.
see
Big
Clemson,
12.
no,
Yes.
I
Well,
like
Kev,
Kansas State over a lot of ACC teams.
No. No.
well, Kev,
Kansas State ain't beating Miami. Kansas State's not beating Pitt. Kansas State's not beating SMU. Kansas
Kan-
State's not beating Clemson.
Kansas State's beating
No.
Clemson. Clemson State is beating
No.
Pitt. They may not beat Miami.
Kansas State's not beating Louisville. Not happening. No.
it's
Okay,
tough.
okay. Iowa State.
No.
Iowa State.
And I love what coach is doing there. I
I'll
think
tell you.
that he has maximized. I think he's a great coach. I think he's at Iowa State. No.
I got one more
No.
team I have liked all season outside of my our Tigers.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
like Ole Miss above every team from 8 through 14, excluding Alabama. I like Ole Miss versus Indiana. I like Ole Miss versus
They
BYU. I
do
like them versus Notre
it.
Dame. Ole Miss will run the score up on all these teams.
Kentucky beat them too.
Just like they did
But
Kentucky.
that's that's the same point that J Mac has made though. Put any of these teams that are not in the SEC and you put them in the SEC and have them play them week in, week out, you lose to Kentucky too. You
You know
lose
what
to
they
And
say?
Vandy.
If
I
my
don't
aunt
think so
had
because
if my aunt
because
had whatever, she'd be my uncle.
Man,
but this
where is
I
that
felt
pin he had? No pin.
but they lost. They'll lose a one off, right? Kind of like they're not losing again. So it's
Who?
not like Ole Miss, right? They lost the one. They didn't lose
Yeah.
again, and they playing some other SEC teams that's kind of middle of the pack. Arkansas didn't stand a chance. They just seem to go out on the day
Have
and be
y'all
better than you too. So I'm gonna give these other
have you
teams
watched
credit.
Indiana play? First of
I
all,
have.
What I watched
that
them
coach
Saturday.
that coach is great. Great coach,
He can't
right?
play though.
Yeah,
He
he
can't
can't play.
play.
That's
He
true.
can't play.
But everybody they didn't put in front of him, they knocked him down. Now, hey, they got a test this week, right?
Do they? No, no,
Now,
no, not yet.
Michigan ain't who they got. Michigan and they got Ohio State.
That's not
So
a
we're gonna
test.
see.
So this is okay, okay. So I'm gonna look ahead a little bit. They have to play like you said, Ohio State. If Ohio State drags them through the water, in my
Hmm?
opinion, that team should be knocked out of the top 12.
Ooh.
I think it's gonna be
Because
dependent
then
on
who
how
have
they
they
beat them.
beaten? Who have they beaten?
It's gonna be
What you
dependent on
mean?
how they
One
beat them.
loss knocked out of the top 12?
If you get drugged through the mud, because you don't have to face Oregon, which is the best team in that conference. So you play the second best team who had a dogfight with Oregon. If they drag you, you shouldn't be over Ole Miss. You shouldn't be over Bama.
Ooh. Let's see. Let's check that
BYU,
schedule.
who else do they play?
Bro,
Let's
listen.
check their schedule.
Here's I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Right
Please.
here's why I'm telling you gonna pump your brakes because I mean they are whooping everybody. Like,
Who are they
but
playing, J Mac?
they're whooping Big Ten teams.
Michigan
Yeah.
State sucks.
But they whoop they beat Washington. They beat Nebraska. They whooped Nebraska.
Both of them suck. They suck. Like, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
that's
Like,
that's
Hey,
crazy about you,
biggest
man.
biggest biggest challenge coming now. They get past this one, they got an even bigger one, and
Yeah.
then the last one should be a smooth. So they could be 10-2.
Listen, here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna go. The Ohio State probably beating. They'll be 11-1. They don't have to play in the Big Ten championship because they'll be represented by somebody else. But guess what happens? They still gonna get in. They 11-1 P14.
I'm gonna tell you right now, J Mac. I'm with you. I'm asking for the following year because it can only shake out how it's gonna shake out this year. Once teams like Indiana, BYU, Boise State, if they can still squeeze in there, if you make it and you get drugged in this playoff, that hurts your conference, and you should no longer be able to get in there as a one-loss team. I'm sorry. Like, well, I don't want to see a repeat of TCU versus Georgia. That was the worst championship game we have ever seen, and I don't want to see any bowl game look like that.
Bro, we knew that the championship game was when
Was the
when
week
when
before.
Bama and Georgia got matched up.
It
All right.
was,
That being said, though, bro, that Georgia team was gonna beat a lot of people that way that year.
except another SEC school in Bama.
No, just Bama. It's just Bama. That's it.
At
Just
that
Bama.
at that time, yeah, it was just Bama.
Just
They had
Bama.
they had probably one of the best teams you ever seen in college football. You're
Bro, I'm
right.
gonna tell you right now, like the Big Ten conference because of what Oregon's added, because of they didn't USC didn't do it, but USC because of the stables in Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State, right? Bro, the Big Ten ain't going no place. It's the second best conference, and
Who,
and, and,
who
and, and that's not even debatable because you just said you don't think the ACC is very good. You just
hold on.
said the Big 12 is even worse than that. They're the second best conference.
Is what it is. I'm out to, hold on. So look at Army sitting there undefeated.
Okay,
They haven't played a close game yet, in my opinion. And they're
okay.
about to go down to North Texas and beat the brakes off them. Why aren't they over SMU or Boise State?
Because SMU's in the ACC.
The teams they're playing suck just as bad.
No, they don't. SMU has two top 15 wins, man. And they got one loss by 3 points to a top
Yeah. Hey,
18.
but listen. If Memphis was undefeated, Mac, you know darn well they be in the hunt.
If Memphis was, well,
That's
what's
who.
up?
That's who was everybody expecting to win that conference, the AAC. That was. I remember I said it on one. I was like, man, Memphis one of them teams that they can run. They conference so weak
No,
that they can run it.
bro, SMU's in the ACC.
No, I'm talking about Army. If they number
Hmm.
one in
Oh,
this AAC conference, but they not getting no. They 25 when it come to being. I don't know where they is in the playoff one, but
Yeah.
if they were if they were Memphis, they'd be higher, bro. They'd be around the Boise, BYU, right in that area, right over Bama, maybe right behind Bama or something. But they not getting the pub.
yeah, but like that's where you benefit from where you start the season too, like expectations and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So
Who knows?
next year, a
Yeah,
team
Hmm.
like that could.
yeah, who
Okay,
knows? Yeah.
I can
All right,
see
man.
that.
Look, I'm gonna let the chips fall where they may. I just
Mm.
unfortunately outside of Indiana, I don't see a lot of movement. and that's why I'm fearful for the teams that end up making it in, because Indiana has to play Ohio State, and then so you're gonna have a two-loss Ohio State team, or you're gonna have Indiana with one loss now.
Mm.
And that's just that makes me a little anxious for the 12 team playoff because I think there are gonna be some teams who you can make a case for, in particular Ole Miss, who I feel like can run up the score with anybody they play.
Hey, I'm
Finish
Yeah,
gonna
out
but
the
tell you
Ole
one
road.
Miss is
thing.
one of those teams I feel like can also
You
lose
can
to
though.
anybody as well. And I think this is going to be more of the norm moving forward. Yeah,
What you mean?
like I think you the parity. I think this is more normal. This is going to get more normal and normal as you move forward.
I don't
Right?
like it.
Yeah, I think some of your mainstays are always going to be your mainstays. But I think as long as you hit right and you hit when the oven's hot, right, and you
Hmm.
get those guys, right, you're going to have teams like Indiana hopping in here, or Miami saying they back, or even last year Florida State saying they were back, and all these like you're gonna have that Pitt down bursting onto the scene. Like you're gonna have that a little bit more than I think that you think and right now, and then you get a team like BYU, right,
Hmm.
right. If you're a really good football player and you're Mormon, right? Like they are getting good football players too.
That's
Like you
true.
don't just beat you don't just beat Kansas State, who you just said is a decent team by 30 points off luck. It just doesn't happen that way, right? So like I think you're gonna see a lot more parity like moving forward. I think you every now and then like there's gonna be a team that you don't expect, right? It's gonna burst onto the scene, a P4 team because
Yeah.
they didn't spent a little more money in NIL,
But
right?
let me give you this. So my reasoning, my bias for the SEC in particular is not because I feel like it has these staples, the Georgias, the Texases, the Bamas. It's not. That's not why. It is, can teams that are not in that conference withstand SEC schedules week in and week out? I think the answer is no.
We don't know. And I had a question like this, Oregon, right? I thought Oregon, I didn't know Oregon was gonna go in and physically week in and week out and be able to deal with some of those Big Ten teams in the trenches, and they proved me wrong,
Good point.
right?
Good point.
Like so,
Well, they are Pacific Northwest Georgia. You look at the coach they
They
went to go
are.
get, the players that
Yeah,
came
they
out
are.
there too.
They
Like
are.
they kind of have a brand of ball where they are big and strong, but I think we just maybe didn't see them enough to
Nah.
respect that they could go
Yeah.
do
We're
that. And
used
the
to
way
Oregon
Georgia
being
went
fast.
too.
Yeah, we're used to Oregon being fast.
Boston College coach was in the other day looking at one of my guys, and I
Mhm.
talked to him, and I was like,
Who was it,
uh,
Mac? I know them coaches. It wasn't
safety
Tim
coach,
Lewis, was it?
safety's coach,
Oh, okay.
safety coach. So he was in looking at one of my guys, and I talked to him. I was like, "Yo," he said he's at Washington State. I
Mhm.
said, "Yo, what's been the biggest difference, like the Pac-12 at the time, the ACC?" He said, "Coach," he said, "the ACC is much tougher." He said those guys are tougher. He said that they play. Now he's at Boston College, so could he have been talking them up potentially? But
Yes.
he's like he was like, "Yo, like." The toughness is different there than it is at that point in time, Pac-12. Now he did say you have your outliers like Oregon, right?
Hmm.
USC. He even said UCLA, right? But he said collectively, right, top to bottom, he said that it is much tougher. The kids are much tougher,
I
right?
would
And it's
agree.
tougher game to game in the ACC than it was in the Pac-12.
First time I played a Pac-12 school, it was Pac-10 then, but we played in the bowl game against
Hmm.
Oregon State. And I noticed when they came down on kickoff, because I played kickoff return, they didn't shock the block with their hands. Like they were trying to avoid
Hmm.
everything. Like it wasn't no coming downhill, striking, and it was like trying to avoid to get to the ball and make a play. It kind of
Yeah.
a more finesse style. But I know that was a long time ago, but that was kind of what we always kind of thought about that conference too.
I don't think that much can change. It wasn't that long ago. If that's where you are, it's where you are. I'm sorry, dog. Look at
Bro,
USC.
you got teams that adding 50 new players, bro. It ain't what it used to be. You got Dion had 80 new players.
That's true.
That's not the same team.
From
That's
all
not
across the country.
from yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I might be
It's a little bit more
exaggerating, but I
accessible.
know it
No,
was.
no,
I know it was.
no, it was
I know it
crazy.
was a
His
lot.
first year he
Yeah,
was up there.
yeah,
Like he
yeah.
like overturned the whole team. But I mean, I just think
Yo,
like I'm telling you, I'm not upset totally with the rankings. I can't I'm like foreshadowing. I feel like we're gonna get to this playoff, man, and we're gonna see these teams that these BYUs and SMUs, man, get absolutely drugged. They might make it out the first round.
Hey,
hey, I'm pulling
maybe.
for him though, Kevin. But you
I
might
hate
be
it.
right. You might be right, but I'm pulling for because I don't want to see it, and I know that football it ain't that hard. If you can count, you can play.
Good point.
If you can count, you can play. I don't care what, bro. I don't want with less. You know what I'm saying?
Bears.
Yeah.
These coaching jobs gonna have to be. You gonna have to put something out there that set your team up, man. Set your team up for success too. When you know you ain't got what they got.
hmm hmm I still think it's top heavy. Texas,
Man, you're
Oregon,
not gonna like
Georgia.
this.
Uh-oh.
You're not gonna like this.
All these
What?
conferences top heavy too, though.
If Bama wins out, you know Bama's in, right?
Bama
You
has
know
a
that, right?
great have a great win on their resume. I'm not upset.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm
You
not
understand?
upset. I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset.